Good afternoon. This is Jim Whitehead of All Power Group, and today's installment is related to the Power Coffee news. Thank you for being here. This is an interesting story, and as you know, I love coffee. Higher than that is my animal channel, which I love animals big time. I really do. And you're seeing animals in this, but really it's related to an interesting coffee story. And the name of this presentation is The Cave of the Hot Rain. I know you're saying, wow, that's interesting. Anyway, the most unlikely coffee forest ever found. Now, I'm going to be honest, this is not made up. A little bit of what we would call folklore, meaning that it comes from, 1600s as, a story that was passed down. As I've said with my channel presentations, I don't make stuff up. But, I look for interesting stories, interesting information, and this certainly fits that description. Okay. Long ago in the highlands of Ethiopia, and as you know, a lot of the good coffee, does come from Ethiopia. Yes, I right now I'm drinking my coffee from Tanzania, and it's pea berry, which it's a kind of a defect, but it grows with the cherries grow with, instead of having, two beans, it has one bean. Kind of a freak of nature, I guess you would say. But Ethiopia is wonderful. I like the Yugoshev category for the coffee that's grown in Ethiopia, and that's Arabica coffee, and it's grown at higher altitudes. Anyway, Ethiopia has rolling hills, mountains. They hide more secret maps can show there was a region known for strange weather, sudden warm mists that appeared without clouds. Travelers avoided it. It's like with anything. If you think, oh boy, I'm not going to go there because if I go there, I'm not going to come back. Anyway, they avoided it. Birds flew around it. And birds are smart, by the way. People said the ground whispered at night. And, it's like with any folklore, some of what is put forth is kind of reliable information, and then in essence, it could also not be. So you have to kind of decide which part do you agree. Anyway, the disappearance of a herd. And again, there you see the beautiful highlands of Ethiopia. And this is a fitting place for a secret place. Anyway, in the late 1600s, a herder named Dewari lost 3 of his goats during a sudden warm fog. And, typically, even when we have fog, I'm in South Florida, Southwest Florida. When we have fog, it's not like a warm fog. It's just fog. It's like a mist, and it's cool, kind of. So anyway, he said, wow, this is interesting, a warm fog. Anyway, they need to take care of their flock. So they're certainly going to try to make sure that they find all their animals. He followed their bleeding into a arrow ravine, one he'd never entered before. And we all like to explore and go to places where we've never been before, as long as we're able to get back, right? The air grew hotter as he's going into this, as you can see, this ravine, and droplets of warm moisture fell from the rock walls like rain. So he's really saying, wow, I just came from an open air, warmish, coolish area, and I'm getting into an area that doesn't feel normal or even look normal. Then he saw it. A cave mouth, glowing faintly red, breathing warm air like a living creature. So, by the way, I love caves. Just wanted to tell you that. So, when he stepped inside, he found something no one had ever seen. A coffee forest underground. Inside the cave, an ancient volcanic crack allowed warm geothermal steam to rise continuously. So, that's, and this, in the sense of the reality, if you were in a kind of a closed area and the outside of where you are is, normal weather like, as it would be in the highlands of Ethiopia, cool, not cold, but cool. And if you would go into a cave, and within the cave there was communication to the center of the earth in so many words. Yes, warm thermal heat would be coming up from the ground. And that's exactly what happened here. And as you can see, this is a wild coffee garden, growth area, whatever you want to call it. That warm rain, combined with minerals dripping from the ceiling, had created a perfect growing chamber. And in the chamber grew hundreds of coffee trees, tall, thin, pale, leafed versions adapted to the dim light. Their cherries were vivid red, almost glowing. And that's how I feel about coffee anyway. It's glowing all the time. Have it every morning, look forward to it. It's great. It was a subterranean jungle. And again, back to why unusually warm, moist air was coming up through a vent to, I don't want to say the center of the earth, but that could be very well what we're saying. And it was a jungle. It was silent, warm, otherworldly. So meaning it was not normal, and it wasn't where you'd ever, know that this was there. Anyway, the goats were already eating the cherries. And, in one of my other stories, it gets into saying how we have found that goats, by finding these red cherries in different locations, think they're a great little meal to have. And then all of a sudden, people say, why are the goats jumping all around like they've, just drank coffee? And it's really because they've been eating the coffee beans. So, hey, anyway, Diwali found his missing goats. And as you know, that's good. We love animals. We don't want them to ever not be where they can be found and taken care of. The goats are jumping from rock to rock blissfully. I mean, they're saying this is the best place in the world, chewing on these cave-grown coffee cherries, each bite echoing through the cavern. Obviously, there's echoes. He tasted one of the berries, and it was unlike any coffee on earth. And in a way, if you think about it, this is on Earth, but it's really with communication from the center of the Earth. It's not surface level. So that kind of fits also. The coffee was sweet as honey with a whisper of smoke and a strange warmth that lingered in the chest. The secret that never spread. The villagers kept the cave a secret for generations. I don't blame them. I would too. Harvesting only small amounts to avoid disturbing the natural steam vents. But unfortunately, there was a minor eruption in the 1700s, and it sealed part of the cave, and the coffee forest was mostly lost. Preserved now only in old songs and rare stories gathered from Ethiopian oral tradition. Coffee botanists today still argue whether it was real. And again, as I said when I first started, sometimes things are real, and there's a basis of when you hear a story today, and it goes back to the 1700s. It could be true. It might not be true. No one knows. The locals say the cave is still there. The trees sleep until the mountain breathes again. So, unfortunately, and I can almost identify, because as I said, I love coffee, and coffee has gotten more expensive because of tariffs, especially from Brazil, and the villagers had it made. They had a large amount of this wonderful coffee beans. And again, they were pretty careful to ensure they didn't take coffee, take too many of the beans, and they kept it a secret so that you wouldn't have, all the Sunday afternoon, there's 281 people standing outside to go in and steal the coffee. But the neat thing is that I know the villagers are saying hopefully someday this will close up and the coffee will, as they said, wake up. Anyway, that's the story for today. Relatively short, about 15 minutes. But both from the Animal Channel I have the pleasure of doing, and the Power Coffee News, it's things I love. And every presentation I do, I learn new things, things that help me do things better today as they learned these things centuries ago. And sometimes we think people were dumb back then, or we're smart now. No, not necessarily. But anyway, first of all, I want to wish you the best of holidays. Yes, I will be, of course, on again. I kind of alternate my presentations between Power Coffee News and Phoenix Animal. So my next one will be a Phoenix Animal. And I'm not exactly sure what I do, but again, what I try to find in my series at this point, and I've done a couple, it's all related on animal rescue locations in different parts of the world. I had done some animal rescue based on in the United States, or those are locations that are in the United States. But the first one I did was a extremely old, in the sense it's been around for a long, long time, since the 1800s, in England, Great Britain, where they take care of animals, help animals, bring them back to life, get them ready for hopefully a new home. The one I did 4 or 5 days ago was, and this was interesting, and I would have never known that there was this location in Bali, Bali, and it was a wonderful location that was an open place, meaning that animals weren't kept in cages, they weren't behind fences, they were out in the open, and they would be nursed back to health if it was possible, and then they would be able to go back to the wild. We never want an animal that should be in the wild to stay in a domestic situation, because a lot of the animals that they would have in the valley are not, again, home pets. These are pets that have had some problem within the environment, and they need someone to help them. And that's what this location does. So if you can look at my my other channel, and maybe if you might find that interesting. But anyway, I want to thank you very much, and again, happy holidays. And we're looking hopefully to 2026 as being a good new year. Take care. Thank you again.